right, I think we're live at this point. Good evening, everyone, or noon, depends on where you are. But anyhow, welcome everyone to yet another party from Open Web Sandbox. And here we are with DeFi Debunked. So we're going to learn about the mysteries of this amazing topic today, ask questions, and maybe clarify some concepts that's been a little bit off with some people. We do assume sometimes that some things are known, but maybe they're not. So it's a very good opportunity to clear the air a little bit. And so here we are. I would give the floor to Zardos from Wizards Guild to start off the event with the presentation about the DeFi, and then we will go to the panel with our guest speakers and then have some time for questions from the public as well. So Zardos, the floor is yours.
All right, let's go. All right, we're with the Wizards Guild. This is an introduction to DeFi. What is DeFi? DeFi stands for decentralized finance. In comparison to centralized finance, the kind of finance we currently use in everyday life, like banking institutions, exchanges, brokerages, and other financial intermediaries, decentralized finance utilizes trustless smart contracts reliant on blockchain technology. DeFi eliminates the requirements of trusting centralized entities or services with your investments or custodying of your funds, and allowing you to directly interact with investment vehicles using a digital wallet. Users with funds on blockchain networks like NEAR protocol can use dApps, decentralized applications, to invest, trade, lend, borrow, stake, or farm to receive fees, interest, or reward tokens. Some of the current upcoming DeFi dApps on NEAR include self-custody and wallet staking, Skyward Finance IDO, investing, MetaPool multi-validator staking, OAN lending and borrowing, stablecoins such as US dollar coin, DAI, and USD, Ref.finance, DEX, AMM, automated market makers, swaps, trading pools, yield farming, Chedr finance yield farming. DeFi is sometimes considered as being money Legos because, unlike traditional investments, dApps can be connected together to produce a multiplier effect that increases your profits. For example, user deposits NEAR in MetaPool for ST NEAR. User swaps 25% of ST NEAR for P NEAR in MetaPool. User deposits 75% of ST NEAR and OIN as collateral. User borrows NUSD on OIN. User deposits NUSD and P NEAR in Ref.finance trading pool. User deposits Ref.finance NUSD P NEAR LP token and Ref.finance farm. User sells Ref.finance rewards for NUSD. User deposits NUSD and OIN to pay off the loan and unlocks the original ST NEAR deposit. During this process, the user was able to connect the money Legos of MoneyPool, OIN, Ref.finance together to receive 10.5% NEAR staking rewards, Meta tokens, Ref.finance pool trading fees, plus Ref farming rewards. There should be an additional reward for the lending on OIN, which in this case for most lending platforms. That lending reward could then be added to Ref.finance or deposited in Chedr Finance for more rewards. Since decentralized finance does not involve any middlemen, you have to be responsible for your funds. The Wizards Guild on NEAR protocol exists to guide you through these complicated DeFi steps using animated magical spells that can demystify investing and help maximize your profits. How do DeFi dApps function? Smart contract code enables these decentralized financial applications to function. Smart contracts provide coded instructions on how the program should run without the involvement of middlemen, banks, brokers, or lawyers on the blockchain. Oracles like Flux, Band, and Chainlink provide outside real-world data to the contracts. Currency exchange rates, for example, to ensure that DeFi runs smoothly and accurately. Upon your approval, funds move from your cryptocurrency wallet into smart contracts within seconds. Risk reward for DeFi. DeFi can be risky. There are hacks, smart contract errors, user errors, and things like impermanent loss. When providing funds to a trading pool, the pool may become imbalanced and you may lose money. The rewards you farm may lose value due to inflation. A smart contract may have errors, could be hacked, or the developer might remove your funds. Centralized finance is generally safer, but the return on your investments are lower. DeFi allows you to control your own funds, so no centralized entity can freeze or close your account or require you to update your KYC or other private details. You control the flow of funds in and out of contracts, and you decide how best to invest your funds. Transactions are anonymous, open to everyone, and are available 24/7. This is in stark contrast to centralized finance, which has closed books, restricted trading hours, slow transactions, and is closed to non-accredited investors or those deemed uncreditworthy. Follow us on social media. Twitter at DeFi Wizards, Telegram at DeFi Wizards, and our CryptoVoxel space, tinyurl.com/DeFi Wizards. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that introduction to not only the Wizards Guild, which is an important group in the NEAR ecosystem, in the NEAR community, who are the wizarding school for the dark arts of DeFi. And it's really great to know that there's a group out there helping to demystify DeFi for NEAR users. So thank you, Casey, not Sardoz, my apologies, the wizard amongst us. But we also have here on this panel a number of other folks who are really instrumental in what's happening on DeFi on NEAR at the moment. So this includes Claudio, who handles product growth and is a co-founder of MetaPool, which just launched in August. And it allows NEAR token holders to stake and earn rewards, providing an easy way to unstake with no lockup. So that's liquid staking. We'll go more into that later. We also have Didier, the community manager at Ref.finance, which is a synchronous DeFi shard on the NEAR blockchain. And Ref aims to bring DeFi one step closer to the people. We also have here with us Thomas, who is the guild leader of the Merchants of NEAR, a guild that provides macro insight, technical analysis, and fundamental analysis about the price potential, fundamental value, and market segments of the NEAR ecosystem and cryptoverse. That's a lot that they're handling right there. So welcome all. Thank you so much for being here with us today. And let's start to dig into some questions. Over to you, Sophia.
Yeah, sure. Nice. Thank you for introduction again. And I think it would be nice after such a presentation, maybe dig directly into the concepts, and whoever feels like jumping on this one, that would be the basics pretty much. So what is the difference between staking, liquid staking, and farming? And also, what are the differences in earning between those three? Claudio, maybe, or Wizards, whoever. I feel like you are the ones who are the most expert on that, so please feel free.
Yeah, sure. So thank you very much. Hello, everybody from the Open Web Sandbox Guild, and also NEAR token holders. My name is Claudio. I'm co-founder of MetaPool, based in Mexico City, currently in Bilbao, Spain. Looking forward to NEARCon this next October, end of October, last week of October. So anyhow, yeah. So DeFi ecosystem is really nascent right now at NEAR. We basically, my co-founder and I, Lucio, we have the mission to create as much value for NEAR token holders as we can. One of these ideas is MetaPool. So basically, we are liberating all the 400 million NEAR tokens that are currently staking in several validators, and creating a liquid platform for them to stake their tokens and then generate another token, which is called ST-NEAR, which is a kind of like an IOU or a paid receipt of that token plus the NEAR rewards. And then these tokens are now liberated. It represents the NEAR a NEAR unit plus the rewards that it's been accruing every 12 hours or every epoch So we basically launched it on August 23rd. This is we just passed 5 weeks right now. So today is 5 weeks since we launched. It's been a crazy ride. Definitely, it's been interesting. We understand that we launched this soon, in the sense that right now NEAR does not have any utility. Then there's a couple of NEAR hodlers right now. So thank you very much for being patient with us. We just finished our community launch as well 1 week ago, and we're excited for the next phase of the project, which is getting other platforms in the DeFi ecosystem, such as Ref.finance, Chedr, and also OIN, to be using NEAR either as a collateral, as a pegged a token for the pools, such as AMMs, and also farming it as well, which is what Chedr wants to implement it in. So yeah, it's been really exciting. It's been a little bit kind of 24/7 round the clock work. Didier will attest to that, right? He's looking sharp, so maybe he's getting a good sleep. I'll ask for his tips and tricks to sleep during night. But anywho, so it's exciting to be here. Thank you everybody for being here. Everyone that's a NEAR token holder, you are building the DeFi ecosystem. You are part of that. Even if you're just hodling, you are making the network. You are creating value for the network by having those NEAR either on a wallet or either on a validator, or trading it as well. That's what gives the network its value. It is the usage and utility of it. Right now, we're in early stage, but I believe it's a really exciting time to be part of the NEAR ecosystem.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. Thank you for clarifying a bit more on the MetaPool. I'm also wondering, do you want to answer the question actually, or shall I pass it to somewhere else? The question was the difference between the staking, the liquid staking, and the farming, because we would like to clear those concepts a little bit, like in more simple terms for people. So
yeah,
you want to, yeah.
Sorry about that. I got
no worries. I'm always glad to hear about it.
So basically, staking right now, it's part of the protocol itself. That's part of what proof of stake network blockchain does. That means that there's no farm of servers making any computations in order to see who gets the reward. It's basically here you're factoring two things, three important things, which is the longevity of that validator node, how much staked NEAR it has, so how much value does it accrue on the network, and capability of computing or validating transactions, right? And online availability of that resource. So that's kind of the staking part of it. The liquid staking part that, for example, MetaPool does is we distribute. Right now, and also the relationship is 1-to-1. So that means one wallet will stake X amount of NEAR to one validator node. What MetaPool does is that you stick with us. We're not a validator. We don't have a validator node, just for clarity's sake and for transparency. What we do is, and it's also it's non-custodial as well, and also the staking is non-custodial. You have control over your tokens, and so with the liquid staking solution is we receive your NEAR and we distribute it evenly to top performing validators on the NEAR network. What this provides is twofold. One, it creates a much stronger network, because that means that we don't have a exorbitant amount of NEAR tokens being validated on just the top 10 nodes. We are using almost 49 validator nodes, which we're distributing evenly. Also, we're not favoring any of the validators, which also reinforces evenly distributing the transaction the transaction fees that were going to be generated, right? And so that's what liquid staking does. Of course, the extra for that is that we create a token which will represent the rewards that are being generated by staking, plus the 1-to-1 NEAR. It's not pegged, sorry. It represents one NEAR plus the rewards that has been generated by the different validators. The difference here is that you can unstake it immediately if you want. Of course, this is where the business model for MetaPool lies. That means that we take a fee out of that liquid unstaking. And this is a question that we're having. Is it just on the rewards? No, sorry, folks. We take a cut out of the whole, all of the NEARs that are going to be liquid unstaked. And so you have to be wary or be mindful that it is a fee that will fluctuate between 3% to 0.3%. And this in itself is kind of it's a way for people to continue to keep staking on MetaPool. It incentivizes people to unstake when the fees are really high. It's not something that we want, but at the end of the day, if somebody needs it, they can unstake, right? But then again, you might pay 3% for unstaking that liquid token, and then. But we also have the delayed unstake. That means that you will go through the traditional cooldown period of receiving your rewards. The difference here is that it's not a 56 to 65 hour cooldown period. It might be maybe 2-3 days, maybe 4, depending on the amount of NEAR that you want to unstake. And this is because we are distributing your NEAR to different validators. And that means when you delay unstake, we need to go to each validator, unstake it, give the validator its rewards, grab the rewards of the user, pass them on to the user, to the NEAR token holder, take a fee out of that, and so that takes a little bit of time. So I know a couple of folks have been a little bit upset, right? Because, hey, it's taking too long than a normal validator. Yes, because normal validator is just one validator. The relationship is 1-to-1. At MetaPool, the relationship is 1, not 249 validator nodes, maybe 10, maybe 6, maybe 8, maybe 9. It depends on also the performance of each validator. So the bot, what it does is that it allocates to the best performing validators.
I guess
sorry if I'm taking too long to explain this.
No worries. I guess taking this into consideration, people have to be aware that they have to be patient a little bit sometimes, but that makes sense. Blaze, I see that you're here. Hi, welcome. Maybe I will pass the question to you as well. We've been talking about different concepts to start from, and maybe you can talk about the farming thing, since the Chedr farm would be nice to just open up the discussion with that as well.
Cool. Yeah. Sorry for being late, everyone.
No
but the Chedr farm is open. So we've had 20 free days of farming. I think we've just passed the first week of that. So 7 days. So we've got some time left there. So basically what it is right now is if you stake NEAR, you can farm Chedr for free. And so we're doing that as really a gift to the community. We really want to help the NEARverse and help folks use DApps throughout the NEARverse, so that's why we're doing that. And so at the end of the 20 days of free farming, we'll plan to launch some other pools, either shortly after that or a little bit after that, but things to support things like NEAR, Ref.finance, bananas, of course, if you're a Berry Club user, and things like that. And we've also got some meme contests and other things that we're working on to get going for everyone. So that's kind of the overall on Chedr there.
Yeah, nice. Any thoughts on here? Any comments, anyone? Didier is smiling, I see.
What the DeFi Wizard... Sorry. What the Wizards Guild is trying to do is teach people how to use these different platforms and connect them together. So on their own, they're all great platforms, but what if you could take your rewards from one platform and put in another? And you can maximize your profit that way. So you could take your NEAR and use as collateral to get a stable coin, and then you could use that in Ref.finance for a liquidity pool, and you won't have to sell your NEAR. And then you could get your farming rewards and sell those to pay off your original loan to free up your NEAR that you deposited. Plus, in the same time, you're earning staking rewards on your NEAR. So what we're trying to do is leverage these different dApps together and teach people how to use them in the way that best maximizes their profit.
That's awesome. Yeah, much needed, right?
All right. Any other thoughts on here? Or do we move to the next question? We move, I guess. Okay.
Yeah, it's a good transition to the next one, actually. Yeah, that works nicely.
Alrighty, so the next one would be for Ref.finance, actually very relevant. I think, Didier, if you could just explain what a liquidity pool is, again, from very basics, as simple as you can, and then also maybe talk a little bit, what are the benefits and the disadvantages to providing to the liquidity pool?
Yeah. Well, first, hi guys, Didier here, the product manager of Ref.finance, based in London. Yeah, so excited to be here with you. So just before answering this question, I would like to take a step back and actually, have a big picture about what is a liquidity pool. And I think first, markets perform a beautiful function, which is to provide a place where supply and demand meets. And every single market has its own rules and technology/methodology to make it happen. And obviously the most famous popular one is what we call the central limit order book, what you can see, for instance, on Binance or on any other stock exchanges. And in these markets, you have basically two types of players. The first type is providing liquidity, which means you are actually taking the action of, well, how much I am willing to pay for something or how much I'm willing to sell something at. And you have another type of player, which is basically, well, I like your offer, and then I'm going to take this liquidity. So the first type of player is, creating liquidity, making the markets, and that's why we call them market makers. And the second type is taking liquidity. And what we call now automated market makers, thanks to another technology to make this collision between supply and demand, is called, well, the constant product formula. And what happens here is basically, if you want to provide liquidity, you don't have to do all the pain around that business, because it's a real business that requires like real skills. You create orders, then you replace them, then you cancel them. It's a very busy and demanding business. So what is an automated market maker? Actually, an automated market maker allows you to provide liquidity and then take advantage of that. And because you provide liquidity, then you take swap fee because you provide liquidity. So the market is rewarding you thanks to that action. So liquidity pool is basically an abstraction of a specific market on that. And I would say, although it sounds easy to provide token X and token Y, the advantage is you only have to do that. But obviously, the downside of that is you need to manage the risk relating to this activity. And the risk is, well, at the beginning, you had an inventory of X and Y, but at the end, and depending on price fluctuations, the inventory can change. So although you are making money thanks to people that take liquidity, swap token A for token B, you might actually lose money if the price fluctuates too much. So you need to. The disadvantage of that is that you need to manage this risk, basically.
Yeah. Any responses on that one from anyone, or reactions, feelings?
Yeah, no, I think that's good. I saw a question out here. Maybe, I don't know if we address those at this time, but they were asking about impermanent loss,
Yes.
They don't understand it quite still, even though they've read up about it. So not sure if that's something you want to address, Didier, or...
Yes, exactly. And impermanent loss, I think, is quite confusing. I mean, the concept is quite confusing, but it's basically the difference between the inventory you provided and the same inventory at a specific moment. So let's say you provided X amount of token A and Y amount of token B, and that's actually the value of that was $100. And then 2 months later, you are, as a liquidity provider, you are making money because people swap in this pool and then you're taking the fee, but the price has changed significantly. And so the question is, if you remove liquidity right now, what would be the value of your inventory? And would the value be the same as the price with the price today? And the response is, well, it might be not. So the most important thing to remember about impermanent loss is that by holding inventory, you can make more money than providing liquidity because of that reason. So this is the basic concept about impermanent loss. And why do we call it impermanent? Because the loss is actually realized when you remove liquidity. So if you don't remove liquidity, then the loss is not realized, but you would need the price to come back to its initial level, which is an assumption, a bet you take. So you need to manage this window of price to see, well, my inventory, the value of my inventory plus the fee I am taking every single time someone is swapping, is it greater than the value of my inventory? Yes, if that is clear.
Yeah.
I just want to add on. Yeah, I think you did a really good job of explaining about liquidity pools. I think the biggest thing for impermanent loss is when you enter the pool, you mentioned this earlier, but you're balancing out. So you enter with two assets, but you're putting the same dollar value of both assets. But that value or that fluctuation, there's price fluctuations with each asset. So when you take it out, you still remove 50-50 with the dollar value, but the amount of tokens for each can change. So that's kind of the reason why you can get impermanent loss when either asset goes up and down. Hopefully that answers your question, George.
Exactly. And just to give maybe the audience some key points about impermanent loss, either if the price increase or if the price decrease, let's say if the price increase by 2x, then if you remove the liquidity, the loss would be around 5%, comparing to holding both token initially. And if the price increased by 5x, then the loss would be 25% compared to the what you've provided initially.
Yeah, and just to complete the circle on this impermanent loss, generally speaking, if you're providing like a popular pair, let's say a stablecoin pair with Ethereum or stablecoin pair with Uniswap, some like these big name tokens, generally speaking, your impermanent loss will be pretty minimal, just because it's so popular. There's a lot of volume. You can get a lot of impermanent loss when you provide smaller pairs. So let's say ETH is kind of a classic on Uniswap and the ETH protocol. If to ETH with like a really small coin, and then the small coin just blows up or dies, then you can get really high impermanent loss. So it's somewhat overblown for stablecoin and popular pairings, but you can get a lot of impermanent loss for smaller cap coins if you're into that. But the risk is higher, but the reward can also be.
Yes, and usually on Ref.finance, what we see is that the more volatile is the assets, the more fee for the pool, because liquidity providers decide to mitigate that risk by having a more important swap fee, as you said, compared to a stable coin pool where the volatility of the stable coin is not almost zero, but nothing compared to a highly volatile asset, then the swap fee will be generally less.
Okay, do we have anything else to add? Casey, Claudio, Blaze?
I was just going to say that's where the power of the farm comes in on Ref.finance, is so that if you're in an LP and you want to kind of mitigate that risk a little bit, you can join those Ref.finance farms for the tokens that are supported, and you're going to earn an additional token or additional yield on top of your LP. So that's one way you can mitigate that impermanent loss and actually get in a very positive position. So that's a fantastic feature that Ref.finance rolled out there.
Yeah. Everybody's knocking. Everybody's just knocking. All right.
Exactly, which gives you generally much more returns than the actual swap fee.
All right. If there are any questions from the audience regarding that one, please put them in Q&A. We will come back to them later. But in the meantime, I will move to the next question, which will be for Thomas, since you started speaking already. And I think that will also be an interesting one for you to open up. So there are a lot of people who are like urgently trying to do something with DeFi, like invest or maybe token value predictions. And since you're the one who is doing a lot of estimations and actually following what is happening, like what kind of advice would you give to those people? Like where should they look at? How should they start?
Yeah, thanks for the question, Sophia. I just want to say, yeah, I really appreciate what Casey and the Wizards Guild is doing for just the NEAR space and DeFi. DeFi is it's kind of like a very ominous world for beginners. There's a lot of things you can do and learn, but it's the beauty of DeFi in general is just that it gives individuals and holders opportunities to access these financial applications that would not be really applicable in real life settings. To go through banks or exchanges, and you have to pay a lot of fees for that. So I just really passionate about like the power of DeFi and what it's doing. But yeah, going back to your question, there's just a lot of things you can do for each like beginners or experienced or veterans. I think for NEAR specifically, if you're just a holder, you should be at least staking it. It's a very easy process. There's a lot of guides out there that we can link you about how to stake your NEAR, and the interest rates are actually quite good right now. It's I think it's like 10.5 to 11%, depending on the epoch, and it's a couple clicks. So that's kind of like the basic level of just participating in DeFi on NEAR is just staking it through a validator. And then you can take that to the next level and join like these pools. So Chedr Farm or MetaPool is another one that Claudio can really speak about. And that it distributes your NEAR across multiple validators, so you have a little bit less counterparty risk, and you can also earn Meta reward tokens. So that's like one step up from just staking. And then you can kind of take it to the next level. You can join these protocols and apps called like Ref.finance, Chedr OIN. You can do liquidity providing. So that's a little bit more effort because you're just not just staking one asset, you're kind of providing two in a liquidity pool. But that can also generate you more rewards. So I think the biggest thing is just being alert of opportunities, kind of keeping up with the eco space because DeFi is really new on NEAR. What I found is that crypto is a lot of an education challenge. The technology is there, development is there. It's just up to the individual to learn about what opportunities are out there and kind of calculate their own like risk reward assessment on that. In terms of returns, I think personally speaking, and I found that you always want to get in early. Just like if you get in early with crypto, there's a lot of chance to boom. And especially when you get in early with these yield farming protocols, like with Chedr and MetaPool, they have a lot of rewards in the first, week, first month of stages, which are generally speaking like 2 to 5 times more than you would earn after the initial period. So my advice to everyone out there who are kind of scared about DeFi or not new to DeFi is just take it step by step. There's a lot of easy things you can do, just like staking, just learning about MetaPool, Ref.finance, that kind of stuff. And then whenever you get comfortable, you can venture out into other protocol or newer apps. I always found that, getting in early is really helpful because then you can not only earn the fees and rewards from the app itself, but you also get like rewarded for using the app. So you get extra Chedr tokens, you get extra MetaPool tokens. And when they first launch, there's really no like price discovery for these coins. So they could be worth nothing, they could be worth a lot, and it's just about how successful the app is. So yeah, I think getting in early is really important, and keeping updated with the eco space. Hopefully that answers at least one of your questions if you have more.
Yeah, definitely. I think especially being alert of opportunities part, that's not always easy, I would imagine, for new people who are joining because of the amount of different sources. I don't know, any favorite of yours? What are you using to stay alert of what's happening around you? Or if any other panelists have ideas on that, we'd be glad to hear.
Yeah, I would say, obviously you can join the Merchants of NEAR Telegram group. We're trying to give a good opportunity. We're trying to provide educational content and just like content from other groups that we can see that are good yield opportunities. Aside from that, I think it's difficult because it's decentralized. There's no like centralized bulletin board, that kind of stuff. But keeping up with like the NEAR protocol, Twitter, Telegram would be probably the easiest and probably most efficient way. And then there's other small groups that you can follow that will give you that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. NEAR Week is one of them, right? NEAR Daily is another one. You can see them on Twitter, really active. And I would advise also to seek out your regional guild. I know, for example, the NEAR Korea, NEAR Vietnam, NEAR Philippines, they're really active. And if English is not your first language, or you feel a little bit nervous about asking questions in English, try to look for your regional channels. In MetaPool and our Discord, we're slowly but surely ramping up some moderators in Korean and Vietnamese, Chinese, Russian. And so yeah, for my advice is reach out to your peers and your local region, who you can verify as much as you can, right? And then just do that initial step in engaging and do your own research. Understand that we're all alpha beta testing, right? Let's just be really mindful of that. One of the things is where everything has been built is quite new, and so there is a risk factor there, right? We cannot say that this is 100% bulletproof. So please be mindful. Or even for example, in MetaPool, which is just staking right now, right? It's not that you're farming or anything, and there's and it's non-custodial. We are at risk if there's an attack on the protocol itself. Then yes, we are. Every one of us is exposed. But even that, right? I cannot be assured like it's 100% safe. No, I cannot assure that. If there's an attack on the protocol, then everybody's exposed. Just be mindful of that. And I think there's been a lot of examples recently on other layer 1 chains that have been there's compromises in everything we do, and anything software related. There's always a compromise. So just ask the questions. There's no stupid question or dumb question unless that question's not asked, right? So go ahead, ask and verify as much as you can. And if you're not sure, then don't go for it. That's my advice. If you're not sure, 100% sure on it, then don't go for it. It's just, yes, it is important to get in early. FOMO is a big factor, I understand, but just take it step by step. It is really, really early. If you're here, it's early. It's not late, even though yes, price went up and skyward and whatnot, and down to reality, right? It's still early. So please don't haste. Take it step by step. Reach out. There's a lot of guilds, right? If you go to nearguilds.com, you will see all the guilds, the different guilds there are, and find your peers. That's my advice more than being early. Find your peers and your network of support.
I would add two things. I totally agree with Thomas and Claudio, but as a DeFi user, I would say that's one thing that derives from this new ecosystem is how easy do you access to those teams. And I think accessibility is like a key advantage in the space, because you can ask questions on Telegram, Discord, and you might have an answer from the co-founder. Ilya is a good example, because he sometimes answered like random questions. So accessibility is like a key point, and as a DeFi user, you can ask those questions on any channel and have actual answers by the team. And the second thing is, if you want to try something complex, such as maybe a difficult, not a difficult, but a complex strategy, then think about composability. So let's say you see a nice bet to do on Pearl's market, but the bet is in DAI, and then you need to bridge DAI. But because you haven't tried yet the bridge, you don't know that it takes some time, plus you have a cost to do that. So usually test the whole process of what you want to do before deploying a large amount, because you might have some bad surprises. So always think about composability and test the whole narrative behind what you want to do. And yeah.
Yeah, I think it's very, Zardos?
Yes, anyone is welcome to go to DeFi Wizards on Telegram or on Twitter. On Telegram, you can discuss different techniques or receive technical support. And on Twitter, we update every time there's a new DeFi DApp live on NEAR, so people can jump on the farms and get the highest rewards real quick.
Yeah, I think it's really important message, actually. Two things for me, at least, that I would take away from that is that you really need to be conscious of what you're doing and do your due diligence before you're investing into something. And then also that, of course, within NEAR ecosystem, you have various resources, and only here we have two guild leaders, Thomas and Zardos. So do check the regional ones, do check what's available there. People are usually nice everywhere, so just ask your questions. As Claudio said, there are no stupid ones. People are always very eager to reply. So just take time and ask those questions. And this is what I'm going to do next, actually, the one which will be targeted to Zardos, about NFTs that is going to be. So what are the use cases of DeFi when it comes to NFTs? Probably you would be a good one to reply.
I haven't seen them directly integrated on NEAR, but on other platforms, they can be used to reduce a deposit fee into a liquidity pool. If there is a fee, you could also use them for boosted farming rewards. Those are a couple of uses. Plus, there's some farms coming out that are gamified. So you can use your NFTs and stake your NFTs during farming rewards, or participate in games that involve DeFi. So it's all getting mixed together. What we're doing on NEAR using NFTs is we plan to use the Paras gated NFTs for some of our more advanced spells. So this could be purchased, and they'll show better ways to leverage your funds on different platforms to get the maximum profit. But in the beginning, we're just going to be doing NFTs on MIP-base with beginner free spells. And we also have our own token, Magic Token, which we aim to integrate with DeFi platforms. It's already on Ref.finance, has a liquidity pool. And we also offer services for marketing of DeFi dApps on NEAR. And in the future, we plan on doing an AMM on Aurora. So, but that's a bit ahead in the future. Right now, we're focusing on the NFT side. And we will be giving away NFTs at our Telegram space after this event.
Cool. Nice update. That's good to know.
Drop the link in the chat there, Zardos, so folks can join you in your Telegram group for that. And
Yeah,
that kind of working down our list here, but also, of course, being mindful that we have a lot of really engaging questions coming in from the audience. Don't worry, we'll get to you. Just two more from us, and then we'll hand it over. So one thing that we really wanted to touch upon was talking about regulation of DeFi, because it's a big topic of conversation across many parts of the world right now. So this is open to anyone to kick us off here. What do you think regulation will mean for DeFi on here?
Yeah, I was cutting out a little bit there, but I think I can answer here. But regulation on DeFi, so things are evolving quickly, and it's very difficult to kind of keep up at times. But the keys are decentralization, right? So one of the key criteria that you have to have, and you can look at how NEAR launched and other projects launch, the more you make your product, your offering decentralized, meaning that the decision making is not taking place in one area or by one group of people, but that decision making is distributed across a group of people, the better off you're going to be. And you can look at Bitcoin and Ethereum; those are good models of decentralization as well. So I think just making sure that DeFi is decentralized, that voting power, that decision making is taking place in a DAO with groups of people, and the larger the group, the better. So if you can get to the point where your token holders in general are, voting on those things and you're distributing that decision-making power, that's probably a better thing. Although now there's ramifications that might be coming in that, that could mean different things as well. But I think it's just kind of all still being formulated, right? So I think that's kind of one of the keys, though, is just focus on decentralization, and that's what we're really trying to do. I don't know if anybody else has some input.
Yeah, so and talking a little bit on kind of the current state in Latin America, right? Everybody's heard of El Salvador and legal tender, digital assets. It's coming, right? I think it's natural. There's an opportunity there. We just need to be mindful of how we are setting up. And I think one of the great advantages of the NEAR ecosystem is how DAO centered it has been from its inception. And for example, MetaPool is running. When we went live, it was running on the new Astro DAO protocol, which is version 2.0 of Sputnik DAO. And we are tied to that vision, right? I know somebody was asking in Discord. So how do you plan to do the handoff? Well, right now we don't have a plan, right? We just launched we did a community launch. We took all the risk in it, right? We didn't have any external funding, nor grants, nothing. Basically, we made a bet on the community, on the Nearverse, and I'm really thankful for each and every one of you. For those who won the stake, for those who won the retweeted, for those the ones that passed on the message, we made it clear that if you are planning on launching a dApp on the NEAR ecosystem, you can do that by your own means. And if the vision is aligned to the communities, is aligned to the protocol itself, then you will be set up for success. I'm not talking long-term success, right? At least you will prove product market fit, and that's something that we successfully did with MetaPool. Really happy about that. But then there's the next step. What is the next step? Is regulation going to be part of that? It might well be, right? We need to be open about it, even though many of us got into this because we have a strong opinion about centralization or centralized organizations. I'm going to put that lightly.
A good way to say it.
And that's why we're here, right? We want to make a change in how a community creates value and how this value is retained by the community members. And in this case, it's NEAR token holders. As long as we continue to build value for them, I think everyone should be okay. Is that going to make us millionaires? I don't know. I'm not. So
if that's your goal going into this, maybe.
But if it's a goal, then there's. I'm from Mexico, so there's kind of other ways to become a millionaire, right? I don't have to go and build something on DeFi. That I can tell you. But anyhow, the thing is that it's long-term value, right? I think the Web 2.0 has been run by takers. That's the reality of it. Then you have the Googles, you have the Facebooks, you have the Amazons, right? Even though most of the things that we're doing are running on their servers, but anywho, hopefully that will change in the next near future. But at the end of the day, these are organizations that are takers from the get-go. That's why they were made for. In this new Web 3.0, it is we are centered on the user. We are centered on who is participating in the protocol, and that's the bet we're making. And we're not. Yes, we're doing this to earn a living. Yes, we're to earn a profit. Yes, we're putting staking to earn rewards. But at the end of the day, if you do not truly believe what the protocol stands for, then go elsewhere. To be honest, go elsewhere. There's plenty of money to be made in the whole crypto industry, but then you're not aligned to what we want to build, right? And so definitely that's the change we want to see. If it turn a profit, perfect. That means that I can get to do this 24/7, right? If not, then rinse and repeat, and then the next project comes in. But at the end of the day, we demonstrated that yes, we can create value just based on the user and community backing you up and building this virtuous cycle. Sorry for bragging on, guys. I'm going to step down.
No, that's okay. Thank you, Claudio, because it's important to feature a bit of the value, not just the monetary value and the perceived value, but the community value, because at least from the Open Web Sandbox perspective, that's what we're all about. That's why we host these events. So it's really great to help ground us and center us with that point. Any other final words on the concept and ideas of regulation and DeFi before we move on?
Yes, I think there's also, in the crypto space, some like a misleading conception about regulation too, and I see that coming from Twitter and crypto Twitter. But I think as a community, we need to take what's best in the regulation, and actually regulation plays a good role also, and not only like a bad role. And I think what we need to take from that is, for instance, how do we protect our users? How do we create awareness and making sure our users understand the product they are using and explain them in a clear way what are the risks of using that product? And I think that's a minimum standard that anyone in the space should be aligned with. And obviously, in the automated market maker space, you see a lot of new things with regulation. So Uniswap has made this clear segregation between the front end and the back end. First Inch yesterday had this pop-up window to make sure that you consent that you are not using the product when you are in the US, because they don't want any problem with the SEC. For instance, Aave Pro is another example. They are going to have this solution for enterprises, for instance, where they will do actual KYC for enterprises, and other automated market makers are also addressing this problem, because as a company, you have to comply to certain rules, and you can't be in the same pool as anyone because you don't have control about anti-money laundering stuff, what's the traceability of those funds, and so on. So I think there's a huge opportunity in the space in addressing this question of regulation, and it's not only a bad thing. I mean, regulation was designed to protect users, and I think although regulation has its limits, and we've seen that in 2008 and so on, but I would say that we need, as a community, to take what's best in that to improve our product. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'll quickly touch base on the United States side of the regulations, as we're giving a pretty broad overview of the world now. Yeah, I think regulation is likely coming in two forms. First is like the taxation regulation. I think that's already been coming, or it's already came. There was, I think, a couple months ago, there was legislation and verbiage around like what are miners and stakers and whatnot. Basically, the government wants to take a piece of your profits, which is all, that's fair game. That you should be paying taxes on your crypto gains. Don't try to, cheat the SEC or like the IRS. That's not some idea. But then there's also regulation going on the, legality side. We've seen it with BlockFi. BlockFi is a custodial kind of lending service. You can earn pretty good rates on BlockFi, but in some states now, they've deemed it it's not FDIC insured. So there's counterparty risk with that. But in some states, you can't use BlockFi. So I think obviously DeFi is, subverting the traditional financial institutions of banks and exchanges and that kind of stuff. So I think within the next, I would probably say 6 to 12 months, a lot of these financial institutions will probably understand what is going on and see their money being moved away and kind of fight back on that front. As money is power in the lobbying world in the United States. But that's just kind of a broad view of what's going on in the US.
Okay, thank you. I'm just going to say, so we can move to a lot of these really great questions from the audience. These groups have been dropping chats intermittently, or chat links rather, intermittently in our chat, so you can find out more about what each of them are doing and follow up on some of those resources or opportunities they mentioned. But I want to give some space here before we turn over to the audience Q&A for anyone to promote something specifically happening with your platform or your guild, or your DApp that you would like to let the NEAR token holders and NEAR users present here and watching this let them know about a little addition to what you're doing.
Rebecca, I'm not sure if that's me, but I couldn't hear the question properly. So we're trying to,
okay.
Yeah, was it the question that you wanted to ask them? Shall I repeat it?
Yes. Okay, this is fun. Technical difficulties because for me, as usual. Yeah,
that's a standard already, but no worries. So just to recap the question quickly, we know that NEAR and DeFi is a new situation somehow here, well, relatively to other things. So how do you think NEAR actually accommodates DeFi from your perspective? And if there is something that you concretely are excited about your own project being on NEAR or something connected to NEAR, also shoot those. This is the last question from me and Rebecca. So whoever wants to step in here.
Yeah, just repeat that right now on the Chedr farm, we've got free farming of Chedr. So if you have some NEAR unstaked and you want to get some Chedr, you're more than welcome to join there and farm some Chedr, over the next, some odd days. So I think it's until October 7th, I believe. Let me just check here, but should have had that info available. But yeah, so I'll get back with the exact date here.
I'd just like to say that things on NEAR are very early when it comes to DeFi, and as these new dApps come out, we'll be able to really get a lot of profit from using meta tokens or Chedr tokens on Ref.finance or Ref farming on Chedr. We'll be able to mix all these different things together, and also leverage will come into play. So there's a lot of opportunity, and it's really good for all the people that are here now on the ground floor. It's difficult for us because we don't have all the tools we need to do what we want to do. But as soon as OIN comes on, I think things will really start rolling on DeFi on NEAR.
Yeah, and that date is October 12th. So until October 12th. So you.
All right,
Yeah.
Lydia, Claudio, Thomas, anything to add about your guys?
Yeah. So we're being slow to give utility to ST-NEAR. That's gonna end hopefully by the end of this week. We'll be announcing something really cool. And then we got the OIN finance partnership that's going to be launching hopefully in Q4. So it's just around the corner. And my advice is just bear with us, right? We are building this with you. So we have Meta tokens are going to be locked until November 23rd. This is because we're building the ecosystem, right? And we also want to be mindful that we're creating value, and we know that people are gonna do what they're gonna be doing, right? That's fine. Who has paper hands, or who has diamond hands, or who has whatever hands, or if you're a chimp, if you're an ape, or whatnot, if you're a frog, that's fine. But we need to understand that if you want to build this with us, that you are on the long haul for this. If you want to, if you're in it for this to turn a profit really quick or flip it, then I would advise that just be mindful that we're building something. It's taking its time, but we're going to be building it, right? And this is for the long haul. I know many of you might just got in this year, but for many of us that got in from the coin list offering, and we're still here, right? That means that we believe that this is going to be the next platform, up and coming platform, and we have one of the best communities on the on the crypto ecosystem, right, as a whole. And something that Didier really stand out, and I want to double down on, is the access to the builders, to the creators. You can see this also with Paras. You can see this with Minbase as well. This is something that it's rarely seen, and just bear with us. Be a little bit patient. We will be building this for the long haul, and there's more value to be created. So anyhow, just stay tuned. Follow us on Twitter. You can see metas_pool, or you can go to metapool.app and just see what we're building. We are going to be releasing a roadmap. Yes, we know we don't have a Git book. Yes, we know there's a lot of things that are missing, and we will be ramping up those in this next month. So thank you very much for your patience and the space, Sophia, Rebecca. Thank you very much, Thomas, also for supporting us. Didier, I will surely be having more conversations with you soon. So I turn the mic up to you.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with you, and I think one of where actually NEAR stands out is the community itself, and how do we increase usability for NEAR users. So for instance, and to give a tangible example, yesterday I was having a call with Blaze on how can we create synergies between Chedr and Ref.finance and increase this usability we were talking about. So if you are doing this strategy on Chedr, then how can you come to Ref and have more options, more freedom within the space? Because at the end of the journey, it's a question of a freedom within the space, and that will be the same with MetaPool, and just to tell the community that behind the projects themselves, there are actual and real conversations about how do we make the whole thing better compared to Ethereum, for instance, or Solana. And I think we are going towards that direction.
Yeah. All right. I think it's a good moment to transition to the questions from the public that we have, and I will move the first one on the screen and also read it. So, if you're not a DeFi pro, just choose the most stable pairs when being ALP. Not sure if that's a question or just a statement, but if any reactions are here, very welcome.
Yeah, that's a good point for the reasons we gave at the beginning of the conversation, because you have this inventory to manage with very volatile tokens. So a way to mitigate that is to provide liquidity with less volatile tokens. And obviously, if we provide DAI with USDC, for instance, you won't have this you won't have this volatility problem to manage in your inventory. You have maybe a third-party problem if you are using USDT, but that's another problem. So I kind of agree with that assertion. If you want to provide liquidity but have a minimum monitoring about your risk, maybe a stable pair is the right choice. Yes.
Yeah, and I just want to add on that. You kind of have to calculate the risk and reward for each kind of pairing as well. So if you want to do, let's say, very common pairing like ETH-DAI pairing, you can earn 8%, generally speaking, on DAI, and you can earn probably like 3 to 5% on ETH. So if you want to provide liquidity, in order for it to make financial sense for you, you should be at least earning, between 3 to 5 and 8%. So let's say 6.5%. So if you're not really returning 6.5% through the liquidity providing, then you might be better off just, earning interest on both separately, if that makes sense.
Yeah. All right. Okay. Thanks for taking this one. The next question is coming about Chedr. So can Chedr be used to farm NEAR on ST NEAR?
I see. Yeah, so Chedr really won't be used to farm ST NEAR, but you will be able to farm Chedr with ST NEAR. So, ST NEAR is basically a staked token. It's liquidity, and you're staking that. So you would have to go through that process to get ST NEAR first. You'd have to stake NEAR to get ST NEAR, and then you could use ST NEAR then to farm Chedr, or I'm sure a number of other things in the future you'll be able to use ST NEAR for, but that's one of the things that we're looking at.
Anyone else on this one? No? Claudio, nothing to add here?
Yeah, well, we're working on putting that on mainnet. So I think after the community launch, the Chedr community launch as well, we definitely are working hard on that one. Right now, our top priority is getting the OIN partnership, and then also the Ref.finance partnership going on. And so it's baby steps. We're still a small team as well. It's just Lucio, myself, Alan. We just onboarded 2 new folks as well. So we're slowly ramping up operations, and hopefully much quicker we will launch on other platforms. So just working hard, but yeah, just taking breathers now and then, at least 3-4 days, but it feels like a month. But anywho, work.
Of course, no, that's a good one. All right, the next one is a little more general, I would say. So for all the native protocol, as Ethereum projects come in Nearverse via Aurora, could they raise competition? And if so, what's your strategy to counteract? Who's gonna take this one?
I'll give my 2 cents on that one, right? The more the merrier, to be honest. It's just, yes, it presents a competition. Yes, we will see, and for us is NEAR moving, and we've seen this when Ref launched their pools, and we saw a good amount of TVL from MetaPool move. But it's fine. We are still in the early stages, so it's normal to see this fluctuation of NEAR. And in this case, they're coming through the bridge, right? So that means that they're bringing in liquidity from outside the ecosystem into this ecosystem. Oh, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
I can. Oh, I don't know, Casey. Maybe it's on your side. And so I believe the competition is always healthy, right? But you need to understand that the native dApps will always have an advantage, right? Because we've been here from the start, and we have the support from the ecosystem. And if we're through to creating value for NEAR token holders, I think we should be fine, right? And if it's not fine, it's just poor execution from the team, right? It is basically that's the team risk, right, of not getting the right people to execute. And so that's like any other startup or any other project in any crypto ecosystem. So anywho, that's my 2 cents on it.
Yeah, the only thing I have to add is that I think that we'll eventually see a bridge between NEAR's L1 and its L2. So I think we'll eventually see liquidity going between those. So that'll be positive when that happens. But, I think that it's good to bring all of those ETH projects to NEAR. It gives NEAR exposure. And there could be some natural competition. I don't know if there's going to be a winner, but if there is going to be one between the two, I think it'll be decided over time. But like I say, I think maybe the focus will be to easily move liquidity between the two, and I think that's where the value is going to be.
Yeah, Didier, you wanted to add something on that?
Yeah, basically the same thing. I think that the competition will be a validation point that the actual ecosystem is taking off, and second, that as Claudio said, that it will push us to have a better product because competition is a healthy process to improve everyone's product. So yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. No, cool. Well,
I just want to. Claudia mentioned that you get first mover advantage on NEAR, but also it can work both ways, right? So NEAR has the Rainbow Bridge to Ethereum, so we could see Ethereum liquidity move to NEAR as well, and that could be a potential in the future. I just want to add that.
Yeah. Thanks for the addition. All right, good. The next question is gonna be from Chloe for Ref.finance. So she knows that Bancor protocol has IL protection. Is this planned for Ref? The longer you provide LP, the more Ref you receive to mitigate IL.
Yeah, well, that's a good question, and the team is looking at Bancor very seriously because it is considered as one of the most innovative automated market makers within the industry. So the answer is no, we don't have any plan yet to have an insurance to protect liquidity providers again in permanent loss, because at the moment we are really pushing first on the improvement of the user experience, and second to have a better price, because at the end we compete with other crypto exchanges, whether they are decentralized or not. So the price is the key to our business, I think. So we will have the parallel swap that is coming very soon. We will have the smart routing feature that will come very soon, which allows you to swap A to C if there is no pool A to C, going through A to B, then B to C, using a crypto as a bridge. So we are very focused on that at the moment. But to answer, to give Chloe's an answer, we are really looking at how we can stand out, and Bancor is really a good competitor to look at, and every time they do something, you can make sure that we will know what it is and consider it.
Okay. I hope that provided enough information, Chloe. If not, ping Didier later on. I'm moving to the next question from Jordan. This is going to be interesting. Yield aggregators one. I get this question a lot from DeFi people. Do this potentially make yield farms safer because they distribute your exposure for you? Or are they riskier because it's just another layer where more can go wrong? Volunteers on that.
It's another layer where things can go wrong.
Just that, okay.
Now, yield aggregators are like a very interesting use case in the space. And today, I think it's around 10% of the liquidity that comes from yield aggregator, and it's growing. So Why? Because they have this kind of value that will, again, help you to have a better price. But yield aggregators, in terms of how can you capture more alpha in the space by providing liquidity. So I'm thinking about pop cycle finance, for instance, which allows you to, provide liquidity in Uniswap v3 because the feature is quite complex to handle. So I would say yes, that will help you to capture more alpha, but you are, and the value for them is to obviously provide you this kind of service, but then they are also managing that risk. So you trust them to manage this risk. And obviously the risk of that is priced in terms of, percentage they take. So yes, again, I would say yield aggregators are a very important piece of the ecosystem, but if you use them to capture more alpha, be careful of the risk, because you are trusting them to manage that risk. So yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'd say that these yield aggregators, these farms, they're normally farming the more valuable governance tokens and giving you their farm token, which often has an infinite supply. So the whales will come in and they'll farm all these farm tokens, and then they'll dump them on the market, and all that time is wasted. The highest yields are normally from leveraged farms, and you don't need a yield aggregator to do that.
Yeah. Thanks
and
for.
there's
Yeah.
plenty of examples how things can go badly, right? I think do your research on that. I think Alpha Homora, I think it's a good example of how things can sometimes go really bad. But that's it. But if you want to be, yes, you want to grab some alpha, you want to be cutting edge, yes. Just make sure that you are you are really aware that you might get rug pulled on them, right? That's a thing that you need to be mindful, and don't get greedy. That's also another advice. It's just make sure that you're building value. That what you're doing it's creating value. If you're a taker, that'll only last you so long, right? So make sure you are in it for the right reasons. And because if not, then eventually you'll get wrecked. So just be mindful of that. Research behind who's the persons behind those projects, right? And yeah, just be careful, people. It's a wild world, right? So
Yeah.
stay safe.
That's an important message to give out there as well. Zardos, I think the next one would be for you, the topic of social tokens. So they have come up a lot in the past month, and there is a reason. Is there actually a reason why a creator should create their own token, and how can DeFi play a role in providing liquidity behind those types of token, if you want?
I think there's pros and cons to social tokens. I think tokens generally should have utility, otherwise they don't have any value. So for a social token, there should be gated content for that community, sort of like a Patreon.
Mm-hmm.
But if you just have a token without any real use case, then it doesn't have any value. How can DeFi play a part in that? I think the community should help provide liquidity in a liquidity pool, and that token should be added to farms and games and other dApps to help provide utility to it. But the community is going to have to be behind it, and the token's going to have to have utility to have value.
Yeah, good one. Thank you.
The next, sorry, just a successful example of social/fan tokens is what football clubs have been doing in the space, like AC Milan, for instance. And actually, if you have those tokens, you can access games, for instance. So there's basically a real utility behind them, and which is also, I guess, which explains also the success of those tokens. But they are, for social token, I would say to take inspiration from those fan tokens, which are quite a huge success in the space.
Mm-hmm.
Football tokens.
Alrighty. Next one. Very thank Didier answer my question. So gratitude about MetaMask on the group. Do Ref.finance have a plan to integrate NarWallets so far?
Yes. So we have, yes and no. So yes, because we will have a feature called Instant Swap coming very soon, which will allow you to swap a token for another directly from your NEAR wallet to your NEAR wallet. So you won't have to deposit first on Ref and then to withdraw, then to swap, then to withdraw. So basically a wrapper of 3 actions into one. So that's coming with Instant Swap, but we will still have this deposit and withdraw function and this Ref.finance ecosystem, because if you want to provide liquidity, you will still need to deposit found. And the reason why is 2 things. The first one is security, because having this segregation between actions allow us to have a better control on those actions. And second is, if we want to, for instance, do lending and borrowing, then the deposit into Ref will make sense in the future. So do we want to withdraw that feature now? It's a question the team is asking at the moment.
Yeah. Okay. No, that's clear to me. At least I hope for the public as well. All
yes,
right.
and sorry for the confusion. For the confusion, yes, in terms of user experience.
I see that we're approaching towards the end of this beautiful event, so I think I'm just going to pick the last question for the stage. Hey, everyone, when can we see Meta in action, like launch roadmap utility? Claudio, here you go.
Yeah, I was about to drop off, but yeah, thank you for bringing that up. Please join us on Discord. We're gonna be sharing more information regarding Meta. Where is it going? Right now, on the roadmap is basically OIN finance integration in Q4, Ref.finance integration in the not so long future. So we're working hard on that one. The Chedr Chedr support is going to be up and running. So all those 3 things are the next thing that's coming, and different pools also on Ref. So really excited about that. Sorry that we have not had enough time to just disclose the roadmap. We're gonna set up the Gitbook. We're gonna set up more of the tokenomics. We're gonna do more AMAs. We just needed to regroup and see where the next step is. There's also some exciting news we will be sharing over at NEARCon. So make sure you drop into the live stream, and if you're going to be in Lisbon, please make sure to. Okay, so I didn't bring it. Anywho, I was gonna. Well, we have some swag there. So if you're in NEARCon, make sure you find me up, hit me up, and if not, just send us some DMs over in Discord, and we'll make sure to send you some swag. So happy for that, and thank you very much for the support. I need to drop off, guys. So thank you very much. Didier, talk to you later. Blaze, nice to see you again.
Nice to see you, Claudio.
Casey Sardas, hopefully I'll reach out to you and the Wizards and see where you can help us out. Thomas, great always. Sophia, you stay safe. And Rebecca, thank you very much, everyone. I need to drop off. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Claudio.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. I see that there are still a lot of questions in the Q&A, but I would say this is just indicating a huge need for us to have those events more often and to talk about those kind of things more often for the public. This is kind of important, so maybe we will hear you out and have another one sometime soon. But any final thoughts from any of the panelists to before I close the event, basically? Some last things?
No, thank you.
Yeah, thanks a lot. Thank you for that amazing event.
All right. Beautiful. I hope you guys enjoyed it, that you had fun here. I would say for everyone who attended, we do have a small reward on behalf of Open Web Sandbox. So watch out for your email address. You will receive the link for the survey, which is a very short one, but you will get your NFT when you reply to this survey, which was featured by our Samtoshi artists, Open Web Sandbox played. artists. So just stay tuned for your NFT, and also I would say save the date for the next party, which is going to be about the evolution of education, as Rebecca featured that with some of the most exciting experts from the domain. So this is going to be 29th of October. And for the rest, again, thank you very much for attending, and I wish you a very good evening, if it's evening or afternoon, depends on where you are. Thanks, guys.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Bye-bye, everyone.